Critical Cisco Vulnerability CVE-2025-20337, CVSS 10 Flaw in ISE Explained Urgent Patch Required. A critical security flaw in Cisco's ISE system could allow remote attackers to take full control, and that's just the beginning. But here's where it gets controversial. Cisco recently revealed a flaw in its Identity Services Engine, ISE, and ISE-PIC tools that could let hackers run commands as the root user without needing any login credentials. This vulnerability, labeled CVE-2025-20337, has the highest possible CVSS score of 10, a rating that signals immediate action is needed. Let's break down what this means for organizations relying on Cisco's security solutions. Cisco's ISE is a core tool for managing access policies in networks, while ISE-PIC acts as a helper for gathering authentication data from multiple sources. The flaw in CVE-2025-20337, along with two other high-severity issues, CVE-2025-20281 and CVE-2025-20282, stems from poor input validation. Attackers can exploit these by sending specially crafted API requests, bypassing any authentication checks. The worst part? None of these flaws depend on each other, they can be triggered independently. For example, CVE-2025-20282 lets hackers upload malicious files to an affected device and then execute them as root. Cisco says this happens because the system doesn't properly validate uploaded files, allowing them to land in privileged areas. While the company has released patches for all three issues, users must upgrade to specific versions, 3.3 patch 7 or 3.4 patch 2. Previously applied hotfixes may no longer work for this new vulnerability. But here's the catch, some customers might still be using outdated patches that don't address CVE-2025-20337. Cisco warns that if certain hot patches are installed, upgrading is essential. The discovery of this flaw was credited to Kentaro Kawani of GMO Cybersecurity, in partnership with Trend Micro's Zero-Day Initiative. Experts are divided on how serious this is. Jason Sirocco, a security leader, calls the CVSS score perfect but notes that the flaw's location, at the edge of many networks, makes it particularly dangerous. A breach could allow attackers to rewrite access rules, move devices between network segments, and gain access to sensitive systems. Meanwhile, Randolph Barr, a CISO, emphasizes that even without active attacks, the presence of public exploit code and scan traffic suggests targeting is likely. The real question is, can organizations patch these flaws fast enough before attackers find a way in? If you're using Cisco's ISE, now is the time to review your security posture. What do you think? Should companies prioritize patching such critical flaws, or is this just another butterfly effect in cybersecurity? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Cisco's critical October 10th bug, patch now to avoid root access. Heads up, security teams, this is the kind of vulnerability that will keep you up at night. Cisco has just rolled out an urgent patch for a shockingly severe security flaw, earning the dreaded CVSS score of 10 out of 10, affecting its Identity Services Engine, ISE, and ISE Passive Identity Connector, ISE-PIC. What makes this one especially dangerous? An attacker with no credentials, operating from anywhere on the internet, could potentially execute any code they want on your system, with the highest level of privileges, often called root access. In layman's terms, they could take complete control of affected devices. If you're responsible for network security, it's time to act, and act fast. But here's where it gets controversial. This isn't just another run-of-the-mill bug. ISE is Cisco's powerhouse for controlling who and what gets on your network, enforcing security policies, and managing identities. ISE-PIC, meanwhile, acts as a central hub for identity information across your security products. A compromise here isn't just a breach of one system, it's a master key to your entire security infrastructure. The vulnerability, officially tracked as CVE-2025-20337, https://nvd.nist.gov/vuln/detail/cve-2025-20337, is about as bad as it gets in the cybersecurity world. Imagine someone not just sneaking in through a side door, but being handed the keys to the kingdom. That's what we're dealing with. If you're running these systems, your priority right now should be patching, no ifs, ands, or buts. Cisco initially revealed this alarming flaw as an update to a security advisory from June, which had highlighted two other maximum severity vulnerabilities in the same products. https://www.theregister.com/2025/06/26/patch_up_cisco_fixes_2. The new bug, CVE-2025-20337, is related to one of those earlier issues, CVE-2025-20281, https://nvd.nis.gov/vuln/details/CVE-2025-20281, also rated 10 out of 10, and impacts ISE and ISE-PIC versions 3.3 and 3.4, no matter how your devices are set up. And this is the part most people miss. Cisco confirmed that both vulnerabilities stem from the same root cause: the software doesn't properly check input from users. In practical terms, a hacker could send a specially crafted request to the system's API, and if successful, gain total control. To quote Cisco directly, https://sec.cloudapps.cisco.com/security/center/content/Cisco Security Advisory /cisco-sa-ise-unauth-rce-zed2gnj6. These vulnerabilities are due to insufficient validation of user-supplied input. An attacker could exploit these vulnerabilities by submitting a crafted API request. A successful exploit could allow the attacker to obtain root privileges on an affected device. For those new to security jargon, this means a tiny loophole in how the system accepts requests could be used to open the floodgates to complete system takeover. Now, here's the controversial part: Cisco says there are no temporary fixes, no clever workarounds. The only solution is to apply the latest software update, https://sec.cloudapps.cisco.com/security/center/vulnerability_policy.html #sign-su, which addresses all three critical vulnerabilities, including another June discovery, CVE-2025-20282. https://nvd.nis.gov/vuln/details/CVE-2025-20282. Since the original advisory, Cisco has improved the available fixed versions, and the company strongly advises all customers to upgrade immediately. Here's what you need to do, step by step. Asterisk if you're already running Cisco ISE Release 3.4 Patch 2, you're in the clear, no action needed. Asterisk if your system is on Release 3.3 Patch 6, you must upgrade to Patch 7 for full protection. Asterisk if you've applied either of the hot patches ISE, apply CSQO 99449_3.3.0.430_ patch 4, spa.tar.gz or ISE, apply CSQO 99449_3.4.0.608_ patch 1, spa.tar.gz. Note that these do not protect against CVE-2025-20337. You still need to upgrade to Release 3.3 Patch 7 or Release 3.4 Patch 2. So, who found these vulnerabilities? Credit goes to security researchers Bobby Gould, Trend Micro Zero Day Initiative, for reporting CVE-2025-20281, and Kentaro Kawani, GMO Cybersecurity by Yeri, in collaboration with ZDI, for both CVE-2025-20282 and CVE-2025-20337. But here's a curious detail: Dustin Childs, head of threat awareness at ZDI, clarified in an interview with the Register that while CVE-2025-20281 and CVE-2025-20337 look similar, they're actually two distinct vulnerabilities. He explained, after viewing the patch fixes for CVE-2025-20281 and CVE-2025-20337, it became evident that these should have been assigned two separate CVEs. The fixes were in different sections of code even though the bug type itself was identical. This raises a provocative question: have similar vulnerabilities slipped through the cracks elsewhere in Cisco's architecture? Could this be a sign of deeper systemic issues? We're all wondering, how worried should we be right now? Currently, Cisco reports no known in-the-wild attacks exploiting these flaws. But let's be honest, a CVSS 10 vulnerability, especially one that hands over root access, is like dangling a feast in front of both ethical hackers and cybercriminals. Security experts expect proof-of-concept exploits and possibly real-world attacks to emerge quickly, especially since it's so easy for attackers to take advantage of systems that haven't been patched. It's certainly concerning, especially since the bug rates a CVSS score of 10, says Childs. It will likely be targeted by threat actors, but to date, we are not aware of any exploitation in the wild. If you need more evidence of why this matters, just look back earlier this month, when Cisco faced another perfect 10. https://www.theregister.com/2025/07/Cisco_patch_CVSS, this time in its Unified Communications Manager and Session Management Edition products. The engineering special, ES, versions included hard-coded login credentials, letting remote attackers waltz in and take control as if they owned the place. It's not a stretch to say Cisco is having a rough year for security credibility. Updated info, straight from Cisco issues critical flaws warning for ISE security products. Cisco warns of critical flaws in its ISE security products, data economy. Cisco released a security alert on July 17 addressing severe vulnerabilities in its Identity Services Engine, ISE, and ISE Passive Identity Connector, ISE-PIC, which could allow unauthenticated attackers to execute commands with root privileges. The advisory, published at https://sec.cloudapps.cisco.com/security/center/content/Cisco Security Advisory /Cisco-SA-ISE-UNOTH-RCE-ZAD2GNJ6, highlights that these flaws affect both Cisco ISE and ISE-PIC, with specific software versions being targeted. The vulnerabilities were first identified by Bobby Gould of Trend Micro Zero Day Initiative and Kentaro Kawani of GMO Cybersecurity by Yeri, who collaborated with Trend Micro to uncover the risks. The reported issues enable arbitrary code execution on affected systems. Cisco has provided multiple patches, including an expanded fix for certain software versions. 3 critical vulnerabilities, CVE-2025-20281, CVE-2025-20337, and CVE-2025-20282, were identified, each with distinct impacts. While all 3 allow for arbitrary code execution, they don't require combined exploitation to be effective. CVE-2025-20281 and CVE-2025-20337 affect both Cisco ISE and ISE-PIC, and attackers could exploit them by submitting crafted API requests. The flaw stems from insufficient validation of user-supplied input, which could grant attackers root-level access. Cisco's patches address these vulnerabilities, but the company has not confirmed any active exploitation of these issues as of now. For systems running Release 3.4 Patch 2 or Release 3.3 Patch 6, with Patch 7, Cisco states they are considered patched. Previously, Cisco had released hot patches, but these have been replaced by the listed versions. Documentation is available to guide users through applying the updates. In related cybersecurity news, Cisco's Talos division recently revealed a threat actor group using generative AI to distribute malware. This group spoofed a legitimate business website to spread CyberLock ransomware, encrypting specific documents on victims' computers. The deceptive site offered a downloadable version of ChatGPT as bait. Additionally, Cisco launched a digital skills training program in the EU through its Networking Academy, offering free courses to enhance networking and cybersecurity expertise. Featured image credit, https://newsroom/n/cir/newsroom/n/us/y/m/Cisco Annual Cybersecurity Report reveals security leaders rely on and invest in automation, machine learning and artificial intelligence to defend the HTML. But here's where it gets controversial. While Cisco's patches address the vulnerabilities, some experts question whether the company's approach to patch management is sufficient. Is it reasonable to assume that all systems are patched, or do we risk leaving gaps in security? And this is the part most people miss. How do organizations prioritize patching when resources are limited? Stay ahead of the curve. Subscribe to our newsletter for exclusive insights into data, technology, and startups. Don't miss out on the latest trends and analysis.